Oh, it's back on this stupid quantum theory crap. So I posted a video response on Vloggerheads to this, free will determinism thing again. And this person called Lima, she posts this stupid video, and it's a part 2 to that stupid Professor whatever cartoon video on the 2 slit experiment. And so anyway, it's just such propaganda, this stupid video. And again, I'm so irritated that people use this crap as an excuse to come up with some sort of free will in human beings. The human brain is not doing anything quantum, all right? Just as your computer is not doing anything quantum, all right? It doesn't produce random errors. It doesn't do anything by chance. It's all programming, it's all software, and the only time it does anything differently is because it's fractured or broken, okay? It doesn't do it as part of the machinery. There's no spontaneous errors. Every error can be traced to a cause, all right? And so it's just bullshit. Our brains are as functional as a piece of computer silicon, and it's on the same level of physics. Quantum theory has to do with subatomic particle behavior. And when they use the word probability, it doesn't, and chance, they don't really mean chance. I mean, there's no chance if you know what the probability is, okay? If you know it's going to come out one of 3 ways, and it can only do one of those 3 things, it's kind of silly to call it chance. It doesn't have some broad ability to do lots of different things. No, it can only do certain things within a certain confined capacity, and it'll do them in a guaranteed manner, all right? Like they have to be connected, okay? I mean, the quantum will always come out a certain way if you run the permutations. Give it enough permutations, it'll come out the same fucking way every fucking time, all right? It's reliable, all right? So it's not doing something random. It's doing something that's generating a certain disposition that is inevitable, okay? I mean, it's each play is what decides has I don't know how to. We keep analogizing things based on the fact that we know how things behave in a human environment, okay? An environment where we can't see what's happening. So if we take a set of dice and we throw them, there's nothing quantum that's going to be happening when we throw those dice. But from our perception, it seems like there's a whole bunch of probabilities, like there's all these numbers and they can all land in a different way and it can bounce. No, it's going to happen a certain way based on how we initiate the movement of those dice into space. So the forces that are throwing the dice, the quantum dice, these dice that people are calling chance, those forces have the same sort of mechanical predictability as our hand and its texture and its all the physics is going on, the same kind of forces. Now the forces that are throwing that atomic particle would have to somehow have the irregularity built into it. Somehow it has to be irregular to create an irregular effect. So the cause has to be somehow irregular. And that really doesn't make any sense, because then you wouldn't have an end result that came out the same way each time, because then the cause would have to subtly change. I mean, I can break the dice probability thing by creating a machine that perfectly throws the dice the same way each time. I mean, they've done this experiment and they do reduce the probability. I mean, if they make a machine that throws the dice a certain way into a certain device where everything is controlled as much as possible, they will change the probability of the outcome. So they can eliminate snake eyes as a possibility. They can eliminate a 12. They can eliminate a whole bunch of things, and they can come up with a machine that'll throw a 7 85% of the time. And the only reason why it misses the other 15% is because they can't control every bit of the physics. All right, but the fact is that they can control a lot of the environment and end up throwing it the same way. And so nature, there's not some mystical hand at the tiniest level of atomic force that somehow throws things differently each time for no reason. I mean, it's just idiotic. the odds are is that it's throwing the same, and it can there's a cause anyway. I mean, who can explain the causes? Who can explain the first event? Nobody. All right, but the fact that we can't do that doesn't change the fact that this is a structured universe. All right, and probability doesn't imply randomness. The two things aren't the same thing. Chance is not randomness. All right, they're two different words. And it's not spontaneous, which is another complex bit of theology. But anyway, back to the video. I mean, I'll post a link to it, but I won't. Really piece of shit. Because they say that, oh yeah, the transistor was invented by quantum math. No, it was invented by experimentation. All right, it's not that complex. They're messing with pieces of material. All right, there wasn't math that figured out how to make a transistor. No, it was experiments. 10 years of frigging experiments. Okay, they knew that crystals created an electric current. They knew some basic physics, and they just kept playing with it, okay, until they got it to do what they intended it to do. But it had nothing to do with quantum theory. Quantum theory was completely unnecessary. All you needed was Einstein physics. All you need really was Newtonian physics to invent a transistor. Newtonian physics and experimentation. All right, just like Thomas Edison's invention of light bulb. It's fucking goddamn perspiration. All right, I mean, it's stupid for them to give quantum theory the credit for the silicon transistor. I mean, it's just fucking bullshit. It's not that complicated. It really isn't. It's a semiconductor. It means it can conduct electricity, and you can turn it on and off based on electricity you pump into it. It's really very simple. I mean, when you look at it in hindsight, it's like, oh man, it's so fucking obvious. Why didn't they figure it out sooner? It's just really irritating that this religion of quantum crapola has to keep injecting itself into every fucking philosophical debate. It's completely irrelevant to our plane of the universe, even if it existed, even if that randomness existed at the very core of the fucking universe. It wouldn't create anything called free will. It would create fucktarded will. It would create fucking errors. It wouldn't make us think better. It would make us think profoundly worse, because it would create these spontaneous farts in our goddamn brain that would make us rather dysfunctional, and it would do the same goddamn thing to our computers and everything else. So it's just bullshit to use this crap as an excuse to contrive some kind of fucking free will, because it has nothing to do with the mechanical process of our fucking brains and how it processes our perception. It's just fucking idiotic. So anyway, enough said. I mean, I could go on, but it's 8 minutes already. We've been over this subject so many fucking times, and it really is irritating. People don't know shit about this subject. I mean, I'm not the fucking expert, but I mean, yeah, you do a little bit of research, you can find out what's going on here. This stupid chaos theory, it's complete shit. Is that what it's called? Chaos? Uncertainty principle. Yeah, same thing. This uncertainty principle, they sit there in the video and describe it completely differently than what it is. It's a fucking acknowledgement of the fact that we can't measure goddamn particles that are smaller than the devices we're using to measure them. So yes, we can't detect both something's position and its momentum. Because obviously when we go to detect it, when we go to look at it, we have to bombard it with particles its fucking own size. So yeah, it's going to be really hard to tell which direction a car was going in when I just plowed another fucking car into it. Alright, when I look at the fucking cars all smashed to pieces, it's going to be really hard to dissect that. Okay, and when all I can do is pick up when the biggest piece I can look at is maybe 500 pounds, and I can't look at anything bigger than that. Of the rubble. You're just not going to be able to reconstruct what the hell happened from the refuse left over at the end. It's just not going to be possible, and that's the science. It's a limitation of our perception. It is not some sort of concession to some sort of mystical forces going on. No, it just has to do with the practical fact that we can't sit there and figure out how something is moving if we have to beat the hell out of it to figure out where it is. So you can't do both at the same time. You can either get an idea of where it came from by seeing where it lands, or you can get an idea of where it is at a specific time by smashing the shit out of it, but you'll have no idea what force it had. Anyway, it's just really irritating to throw words like uncertainty into our physics. Okay, because any uncertainty that exists is because of the limitations of our instrumentation. And even these stupid, quantum microscopes and shit, it's just using probability math. It's putting the errors into the goddamn math to start off with. And so yes, if you know the probabilities, then you can recreate a reality. But that is what they're doing. They're not actually they're not looking at fucking reality. They're looking at a simulation of reality built out of fucking math. All right, so it's not the same thing as an actual visual optical telescope. Okay, it's metaphorical. All right, it's hopefully creating an accurate representation based on math, but it is not fucking looking at the actual fucking goddamn shit.